We're going to be working on a ballista. This is from ROKR, and it's a KW401. We need a 6A10s. You'll notice that there's a side with an angle to it and then a square side. 3A1s, 6A5s, a B13, an A4, and 3A11s. So we have the printed side up. These get inserted into these 6 holes here, and the squared off side goes towards the inside of the circle. This side with the angle goes towards the outside, and they get pushed in from the bottom side. And then the last one. Next, the A1s are going to come up through these holes from the bottom. So now the B13 needs to be sanded and waxed. It looks like it needs to be sanded and waxed on the outside. So basically we're going to get rid of these marks here, but we're just going to get rid of that. And then we're just going to go around the whole thing just lightly. There's another. It's basically where it's been cut. Gotta work on that one a little bit more. There we go. Now we wax it. Okay. So now these pieces, the A5s, will go into these 6 spots here, 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 and so on. and it's going to be with the smaller side down. And these go in from the top, which the top is what we're calling the printed side. Let me, okay. Next, the B13 is going to go down on top of the parts that we just installed, the A5s. And that goes on from the top. So, as always, just get them started, because I find that's to be a little easier. And this one is just a little bit off. There we go. And this one. And there we go. So what I'm doing there is adjusting the piece a little bit to the right or left, so it just, that's what I use this tool to adjust it a little bit to the right or left, so that way it goes in easier. Okay. Next we put the A4 on the A1s. And I don't see where anything needs to be waxed there or sanded. And then the 3 A11s go on top of that. Now I'm supporting the bottom so it doesn't push back through as I push down on this with my fingernails. I'm supporting this bottom piece here too. Otherwise that piece will just push through like that. That's not what we want. We need A2, which requires some waxing. B12, which is going to require waxing and sanding. B1, 4 A3s. We need A9, 2 A12s, and a B17. So let's get our waxing done first. The inside of this gear needs to be waxed. Okay, and now we're going to wax the inside, wax and sand the inside of the B12. Okay, there's the B12. Now, the B1, the B12, and the A2 have additional numbers on them. And you can see them here. So you can see there's a 2, a 2, and a 2. And there's also 1s, 3s, and 4s as well. Now, they're all going to need to be lined up when we put this together. So the first piece we're going to start with is the B12. And we're going to put the A3s into the B12. And you're going to put them in such that it goes across the arc. The long part is like that. Because this one is going to need to fit over it. Okay. Now, we're going to take the A2 here, and we're going to line up the 1s, the 2s, the 3s, and so on. So here's the 1. So we're going to put that right there as the 1. See it right there. Right there. And we have a 1 here. If we look over here, you see the 2 is lined up with the 2. So that's how that has to go on. Now the A2 was a little warped, so I'm hoping the B1 will push it down to smooth it out. It seems like it will. So now we need to put this on top, but we need to make sure our numbers again are lined up. So here's the 1s. There. And there. So we're going to put that there. As you can see, I general rule just get them started and then go around and set them in place. By getting them started, if you mess up, it's a lot easier to take apart if you have to. So there's that piece. So now this piece looks like it goes on top of this one, like this. So if you look at the profile here, you can see that these cogs they basically are up. So it's going to go in like that. The gear, or the cogs on this are down. So it would go on like that. So this piece fits inside of here. This piece does, so it goes on there like that. Make sure it spins freely. Next, these go over the A9 like that, and there's two of them, and then this comes up through the bottom like this. It doesn't say they need to be waxed or sanded. I'm just going to knock the edges off though. There we go. And that's a little better now that I knocked the edges off. So now B17 here needs to be waxed. And then B17 goes on top of the piece we just put in from the bottom. Now I'm going to hold my finger on that to stabilize it a bit while this gets put down on there. Okay. Need 3 B5s, 3 A14s, an A7, and an A12, and the B6. Now, these need to be waxed and sanded. So, I'm sorry, they just need to be waxed, not sanded. So what we're going to do is run around the outside of them. Make sure the cogs are waxed. And then the next thing I'm going to do is put some wax on the inside. Because these are going to be rotating around these here. Okay, now these go in here like that, so you might need to turn it a little bit. And then this one goes here. This one goes here. Now, the next thing it says to do is make sure that this turns smoothly in here. Now, they're going to pop up a little bit. That's okay. It's because we don't have the tops on them yet, and we don't want to do that just yet until we make sure that everything runs smoothly. So they won't be popping out like this. Okay, I think they look like they're running okay. Yeah, I think they are. Okay, so we'll put them down. Next, we put in the A14s, and they're going to go on these 3 spots here. That basically keeps those from popping up like they were on us. See how they're not popping up now? And it's running pretty smoothly. what I'm going to do is put a little wax around here. And then also here. The directions do not call for that, so don't feel like it's required. Okay. Next we need to put on the A7, and that goes on the centerpiece here. And I'm holding the bottom again to make sure that goes on there okay, and then we do that. Now, this piece is going to fit on here like this. And I'm going to put a little bit of wax in here. And I'm also going to put a little bit of wax on this back side here. Again, the directions do not call for this. Make sure everything runs smoothly here for me. That feels pretty good. And it looks like this piece here, as you can see here, it's a little warped. As we come around, see that separation goes away here. It's not there, and then it comes back. Nope, it's still not there. It's just in this one spot here. I have that seated all the way down. It just looks like it's a little warped. That should be fine. And you can also turn it from the bottom there like that. Next we need two B7s, a B8, a B9, a C9. We need A13, B10. Then we need P1, which is one of the rubber bands. And we need D14. We have our two A7s. We need our C9 first. The B8 goes through the C9. And we'll run it through about halfway. Then this goes into the B9 like this. So it looks kind of like a swan with, you know, long neck and tail. And this goes through like this. And this one fits on this side. This one fits on this side. And then we're going to push it down on there to try and make it level. Something like that. Now, next we need the A13, and it's oriented like this. So we're going to put this The two B7s are going to go down into these two holes here, with the neck portion of the swan, this part, going towards the center. And I'm just using this block as something solid to push against. Okay, next is the A10, and that's just going to come up from the bottom through here. Now, I'm sorry, this is the B10, and it's going to go all the way up like that. Now, next, it says we need to feed through the rubber band. And it looks like it needs to go into the spot marked alpha. And it's going to go all the way up to here. It looks like it's going to go on the top side. So I'm going to put it through A and then bring it down along the sides like that. I'm going to run it through this, then it's going to come all the way down around like that. Right. And then next, we're going to put this piece on with the printing up, and the base of the piece we just put in there, that B10, is going to go into this slot here. And I don't see where there's any real now, it says that this piece here, right here, should not come past the bottom of this. It should fit up inside of there. Presume like that. And then it says and that's how that should look. Okay. Next, we need the A8 and a piece of scrap board, and we're going to put these together. So I got my handy 2x4 here. I'm going to put that down, and you'll want to position the scrap board under this A9. So we're going to, so that way it doesn't push through. Then we're going to take and push the A8 through the top here. Like that. Then this has to push down through the center here, and that's why we have that scrap wood down on the bottom, so it doesn't push the A9 out as we push this down in there. I'll probably just use my finger a bit for now. Now, it'll look like that on the bottom when it's pushed all the way through. So now it says that we need to twist this part to make sure it runs smoothly. And it does seem to run fairly smoothly. As the wax gets distributed, it'll move better. But it's not, for me, it's not stiff. It's not that difficult to turn it. And that's what that looks like. We need C1, C6, C11, and C12. So the C1, we're going to take, and this notch back here is going to be down. And then C6 is going to fit in with the notch down, and it's going to run up against C1 like that. C11 gets pushed through this front hole. Let's do this one first. And then C12 is pushed through the back one. And then the C1 gets pushed up against the C6. Like that. Now we need C5, C6, and C1. So holding the one we just made such that this notch goes down and this notch is to our left, the C5 is going to go with this large notch here up. And that looks like it's going to go like this. Like that. And that fits in there like that. And then the next thing to go on is the C6 with the notches down. We're going to start the front one first because it sticks out a little further. And then we'll get this in here. Okay. Then we're going to put this one on again with the notch down. And it looks like, oop, do I have that wrong? No. That should be down. Sand that a little bit there. There we go. Yes, that notch is down. And that's how it should look. A D10, two D7s, and a D4. Now, it says these gears need to be waxed. I think I'm going to do that now before we put it together. I think it's going to be easier to do now. The other thing it says we need to pay attention to is the orientation of the D7. So we're going to take the D10. It has it, the directions have it like this, such that the gear is off to the right and down. And then it says that the D7s should go with the, there's a part that dents in and then the part that is dents out. The part that dents out should go towards the center line, like that. And then this one should aim down, once again pointing at the center line. Next, this comes in from the side with this open part here towards this open part, so it's towards what I'm going to call the front. So we're going to put that in next, like that. And then this piece, which we've already waxed, this is where it says it needs to be waxed, but we've already done that. This is going to go on this side and into these parts here. These ones in the front are the ones that I would align first. I mean, they go in easy enough, so I'd probably just align those first. So it goes together and it's going to look like that. We need C8, C9, C10, C2, and C4. So it looks like we need to put together the C9 and the C10 together first. A hard piece to get. Now there is some center marks. You can see it there. I'm not centered yet. I'm doing just a little bit more. And that's pretty close. Let's see. So then this goes through there like this. I'm gonna get rid of some of the high spots. Yeah, that's much better. So now this piece goes back here like this. Just push down in there like that. Goes like that. Like that. Then the C2 goes on this side like this, like that, and this has to go through this hole, and this goes through this hole. This one is probably going to go through there, so let's put that on now. Okay, let's get this back one in first. That came out a little bit. And then this goes through this hole here, so we gotta line it up because as you can see in there, you see my thing in it, it's just not lined up yet. Now we're gonna move it a little bit, line it up. Okay, that's in. That's in. We'll be able to push on that a little better once we get the other side in. So now we're going to put this side on. We'll work on the back part first, getting this piece in first, because this isn't held in there at all. So that makes it, increases the difficulty a bit. And then line up this front one like that. Very good. And then what we're going to do is, this is sticking out a bit. You can see it right there. What we're going to do is put it on our 2x4 here and push it through. About like that. And that's what that looks like. Next we need two C9s, C13A and B, C14A and B. So I think the first piece we're going to put on is the C9s. They're going to go here and over here. That side. Okay. Now, it looks like 13A goes over here like this, where the curved part is towards the top, and then 13B goes on this side and curves down, and then 14A goes on top over here, and then 14B goes on the bottom, and the part that's printed, or at least has, you know, these markings on it, they go towards the front. The back side doesn't have anything, it's just plain. Next we need C7 and C3. So with C7, the part with the printing goes up, and that's going to go in here. I think that's going to go back in there a little bit further, such that it's flush there with this part here. Well, maybe even back a little further. Let's see what we got. Yeah, it does go back a little further. So you can see it's not flush. It's recessed. Okay. And then the C3 goes in here with the printing part towards the front, and it's going to hook on this piece here. It's going to be pressed onto these two pieces. Get that one first, work on that one, and then push it back. And that'll look like that. Now we need two D3s, two D6s, a D15, and two C9s. Now the D3s and the D6s have to be waxed, and also on the D6s you'll note that there are triangle and square shapes on each of them. So when we put it together, I believe we have to align the triangles. So let's go ahead and wax these. First D3 is done. do the D6s. Okay. So we have our D15. The D3 goes on the D15. Now, I have oriented it such that the square is up and the triangle is down. See? So when I put on the other D3, I will make sure that the square is up, the triangle is down. Okay, the D6 does not look like it matters. And we're going to put the other D6 on. And next goes on the D9s, or C9s. Put this C9 on. And I'm going to squeeze them together to make sure they fit. That's what it looks like. We need two D16s, a D12, 4 D5s. Now the D5s have markings on them, and we're going to have to align those marks when we install the D5s. And then we have 4 B4s. So according to this, the pieces that need to be waxed are the D5s. So we'll go ahead and do that. One done. Two. Okay, now we're going to start putting it together. So, the D16s go like this, put together like that. And then it looks like the D12 is put in there such that the gears on the right side, so this side, point up. So that's how we're going to put that in there. And it looks like it goes to about the midpoint. So that it looks like that. Next, we need to put on the D5s. So based on the directions, the D5s need to have their marks all in the same direction. So I'm just going to put them on loosely to make sure that they are what we want them to be. We're going to put on this side first because we can see the markings easily from the outside. I can put the other side the same way. So let's see here. Yep. Okay, now the next one goes on like that. See how we have the markings the same? Yep, the marking there and the marking down there. Basically, the gear should align so the cogs all form one gear system. Let's put this one on next. And then this one. So in the end, it's going to look like that. The cogs here should line up on each side. We're going to put on the B4s now. 2 B4s on each side. I don't believe they have any particular orientation. So that's what it looks like for me with the B4s on. You need a B14 and a B18. Now the B14, so this piece here is going to fit up into here. Now, it says that when it gets put in, the triangle needs to point down. See how the triangle points down there? Or the triangle is down, not points down, but is down. Now, the B18 goes on there like this. So there's a C9 up here and a C9 down here. And it goes on there like that. The next piece that goes in, and the B14, we're going to put that in to stabilize this, goes in like this, and the decoration, the printed part, goes out. Okay, so that stabilizes that now. So the next thing we need to do is, it says that this piece has to go in next, and you have to be cognizant of these. This back side here where my finger is, the gears have to point up. That's going to slip inside of here. So it'll go in there like that. So these gears fit on these. All right. So the next part we're going to get will finish that other side. A15 and a B14. The A15 is going to go on this side. Printing side goes out, or printed side goes out like that. And then this goes here. Like that. Okay. We'll put that like that. We need two D11s and two D2s and two D11s. So these are going to go on this part here. So we're going to put our D2s on first, on each side. And then the D11s. Now the print, you'll see there's little lines. I put those out, and you're going to do the same thing with these so that the printed part faces out. And it looks like this keeps it from sliding around, keeps this part from sliding back and forth. Okay. Now we need two B11s, 6 B4s, 2 B2s, which you'll notice have arrows on them, so we'll have to align those carefully, and 2 B3s. So it says we need to put these two together like this, and then 2 B4s go on this end. Two B4s go on this end. Then we're going to put a B2 on. B2. Then we're going to put a B3 on. So we're going to hold off on the B3s until we get the B2s fully started. So if we move on, we're going to put this in here. I'm gonna sand that a little bit. I'll put a little wax on them as well. Okay, so what we're going to do is put it in with the arrows such that they're straight up and down. And then we're going to put in the other B2 such that the arrows are straight up and down. See how the arrows are there? And if we flip it over, the arrows are in the exact same place. I don't know that it matters, but that's what I did anyway. So now the B2s go on. Next are two B4s. Next we have our B3s. And that turns okay. Next, we're going to put this together. We're going to put this on here, and then we're going to install B15 and B16. So this part here goes towards the back, this being the back. So this is going to set in like this. In these holes here. And I'm looking down in here and I can see that these holes underneath aren't aligned real well. So I'm going to see if I can't align them a little better. Just push it over a little bit to try and get a little better alignment. I'm just trying to make it easier for me. There. Now these pieces here are going to go down into here. Like that. And then we got to push that down in there, get them started, just slowly work them down. Let's check the other side. Try not to push any too hard on any pieces. I'm pushing mostly here and here, so that way we have these, you know, we're trying not to break anything is what it comes down to. Let's make sure this side gets in. You can see I just keep going back and forth. And eventually they're fully seated. And that's what it should look like. So next, once we get that seated, it says that we should move this from the alpha position or the A position to the B position. We're going to move that rubber band. So I'll show you that. I'm going to use my little helper tool here. And it needs to be up there like that. Like that. And then what it does is it catches on here. Move that out of the way. See how it catches? So that means that this will turn backwards. But to lower it down, you'll have to move that away, and then you can lower it down. So it prevents it from coming down without you intentionally wanting it to. You can see it in there, chattering against the gear. Let me get a better shot here. I think. There. Let me move it up a bit more, and you'll be able to see it there. Now you can see how it's working. Okay. 15 and 16. The directions say that the way it's set up here, 16 goes on this side, which means the printing goes towards the front. It also says that the best thing to do is to start with the bottom piece, getting it in. So we're going to put this part in first, and this part will go here on that hole, and we'll do that second. That's what the directions recommend. Yep, that's aligned pretty well. So then we're going to push that down in there, and then we should be able to move it and push that in there. And we're going to do the same thing on this side. Push that down in there, just straight down. And then that should go in there like that. So you can see that's down there, and then the top part goes in there. This is not a tight fit, it just slid right in. So that should be easy to do. The one down here was a bit tighter, but the top part was not a problem, it just slid. D1, D8, D9, and D13. So the D1 is supposed to slide in here like this. So what we need to do is wax the inside here. So what I think I'm going to do on both of these slits here, this one and this one need to be waxed on the inside. But I think what I'm going to do is take a look and see where it hits on this. And then I'm going to wax those parts. I'm going to wax here, here, there, there, and I'll even put a little bit of wax here like this. But there's only so much I can do here because it's hard to get into there. A little piece of wax in there. I'm just doing the best I can with those. That's all I can really do. And then it says that we should also wax this back part here. We'll wax the top and the bottom. Okay, and then this piece should go in here like this. Okay, and then it says that D9 should go on, or D8 goes on this side. So it's going to, the pointy part's going to go to the front, and the printing should point to the outside. So that goes in there like this. Basically keeps it from going sideways. Let's even wax this inside here and this part here. And do the same thing over here. Let's wax the inside too. I think the other part's gonna, one of the other parts are gonna keep that. Wax the inside here. And then this is gonna go here. So that goes in here and here. Text pointed out. Arrow basically pointed forward. Okay. Now, this part goes in this hole here and this one over here. which you can't see, there and there. So I want to wax the outside a little bit, just to make sure that it slides okay. And I'm going to put that yep, down in there. Well, it's kind of hard to get in there. Okay, there we go. Now they're both in. Push it down. Okay. Okay, and that's it for that. D17, 18, and D19, as well as 3 C16s and 3 C15s. So we're going to put D17, and we're going to put this down in here. And we'll do this just to make sure that it's flat and doesn't, there we go. Then the axe goes in there, like that. And then the arrows, the ballistas, I guess these are the ballistas. No, that's the whole thing's a ballista. Go like that. Now they are blunt. They are not sharp. They are not intended to be sharp for this project. And then they go like that. So we put the rubber bands on, and we're going to put them on. We have 4 of them to put on. They're 4P ones, I believe. And we're going to take and put one there, and the other one's going to go inside there. We're going to do the same thing over here. And it goes inside of there. Then the other 2 is going to come down here. Going to go up through here and into there like that. Now this one's a lot tighter. I'm going to go there, through there, and up there. And I believe that is done. And then at this point, the arrows, I guess, go down in there like that. So then this gets pulled. Well, that's it, it's done. Okay, so apparently this gets pulled back like that. This is how you fire. Well, maybe not. Let me look at that. Press the trigger to fire. So apparently it's going to take a few times to get everything working. Now that I think everything is smooth, that's it.